What is going on, guys? Andrew Hayes here, back with another review, and today I'm reviewing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, his ninth film, in fact, and stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt as Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth, respectively, and it's about Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth in the golden age of Hollywood in the late 60s, and it's about their friendship and how Rick Dalton is, as he said in the trailer, how he thinks he's a nobody anymore, and he's trying to get his career started up again, trying to revitalize his career, and, Cliff is helping out with that, and it's just about their friendship. But also, living next to Rick Dalton is Roman Polanski and his wife, Sharon Tate. And for those who don't know who Sharon Tate is, she was murdered by Charles Manson and the Manson family. And it's about that. Now, I was really excited for that movie because, for those who don't know, Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director of all time. I love most of his films. I like all of them. There's not a single Quentin Tarantino film that I dislike. I really enjoy all of them, and like I said, most of them I love. I love his style. I love his style of direction, his style of writing, and just generally, his movies are the ones I enjoy the most. So last year, the second they announced that Quentin Tarantino was coming out with a new movie, it didn't even have a name yet. Didn't even know what it was about. It was just a Quentin Tarantino movie was coming out in 2019. I was immediately on board. I was immediately excited. It immediately became my most anticipated movie of this year. And then, as more details came out, like Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt were going to be in it, and that Margot Robbie was going to star as Sharon Tate, and that, what it was going to be called, what it was going to be about, and then the trailer came out, and just as time went on, I became more and more anticipated, as I already was, and, it was easily, without a doubt, my most anticipated of this year, and, let's talk about it. Starting off with the positives, I love the chemistry between both Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. I mean, Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth. With this movie, honestly, I could say easily became my two favorite characters of this year, became my two favorite performances of this year, and the chemistry between both Leo and Brad Pitt were off the charts, and that's crazy. Because I don't know how well they knew each other in real life, but this is the first time on screen that both of them are acting together, which, when I found that out, and I found this out, a while ago, when they were first announced to be in this movie, I thought it was pretty crazy that, two of the biggest movie stars of this generation, Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, have never been in a movie together. So, I thought that was crazy, and again, another reason to be excited, Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt being in a movie for the first time. And it's also Leonardo DiCaprio's first movie since The Revenant, so that's another reason to be excited. But again, I already talked about how excited I've been for this movie. But, it's pretty crazy how great their chemistry was in this movie because of the fact that they've never starred in a movie together. And, I legitimately believe that Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth were friends, and that they knew each other for quite some time. And they, like I said, they are my two favorite performances of the year, my two favorite characters of the year. Now, I do want to address some of the side characters, like Sharon Tate and the Manson family, and Charles Manson himself, because a lot of the complaints that I'm hearing about this movie pertains to them, and how they felt like they should have got more screen time, and how they never really felt like they had a purpose and whatnot. And well, those are valid criticisms. To me, it didn't really bother me because going into the movie, I knew that it was going to be about Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth, and that because I loved them as characters and their chemistry and their hijinks and what they were doing, I just didn't bother me because of that. And like obviously Sharon Tate had to have a part in the story, and Charles Manson, but it never really felt like it was about them. Only that it was about Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth, and just how what they did in the golden age of Hollywood, and because of Rick living next to Sharon Tate, you obviously have to have her, and just whatnot. But that didn't bother me that they didn't, because to me it was never really about them. And that brings me to another thing, the runtime. I feel like that's another that there was a lot. Maybe if you cut down on it. But I was fully invested. It was like 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 something minutes. I don't know the exact runtime, but it was close to 3 hours. But for the whole runtime, I was completely invested, and I was having a grand old time. And I just loved, in particular, seeing Rick trying to reclaim his glory, and his ego is pretty shot down. And there's a specific scene of him in a trailer. It's there's a scene of him in the trailer of him in his trailer, kind of freaking out because he messed up on the line, and just seeing that was hilarious. Probably one of the best scenes in the movie, and whatnot. And there's another scene involving Bruce Lee, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but again, it was Bruce Lee heightened on his mannerisms and whatnot, and I know some people found it disrespectful, but I personally didn't, and I loved what they did. Again, it was a fictional, like Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton aren't real characters. They're so the fictionalize all this didn't really bother me. Now, another criticism that I would like to address is the fact that people say, oh, people are giving this a pass because it's Tarantino. And yes, I know Tarantino's my favorite director, and my reason he's my favorite director is because his style of his writing and his directing is the best. And I felt like the reason I love this so much is, again, it has his style of his writing and directing, and because of that, that's why I love this movie so much. And I feel like without his style, this movie would not have worked. So yes, if a first-time director or any other director did this, I probably would not have enjoyed this as much, because the reason I love this so much is because of Tarantino's style. And really, what I love about this movie is it's really kind of, while it does have his style, it's different than all what he's done. This is probably the most lighthearted movie he's done. And it's very different, and I think this movie only made me love Tarantino even more. This movie made me appreciate him more as a director, and only increased my love for him as a director, because this really shows how diverse he is, in my eyes at least. He is as a director, that he could make a different film, and that it could work. Because this is really a different film, and I think that's why a lot of people are kind of not so high on this one, because of how different it is, and that's okay. But for me, it was different, yes, but it worked for me. Now, not going to talk about the third act. The third act is crazy. I loved it. It's definitely the best ending of the year, and really tied everything together for me and put everything together nicely. Really made everything this like the third act is what really makes everything else work for me, and I love what happened before the third act, but everything kind of builds upon each other, and the third act really it leads it's a crescendo, and really ends nicely in the third act, and I love it. And yeah, as for my negatives, I really don't have any. Well, I don't have anything at all. I love this movie. This is honestly and truly easily my favorite movie of the year. Again, it really it really strengthened and increased my love for Tarantino as a director. And I hear this may be his last film. I really hope it's not. We might do a 10th. I don't know if this is his last film. For me, he'll go out on a high note, but I really do hope he does 10 more, because 10 is a nice round number. But anyway, I give this movie an A plus. Like I said, I love this movie. My favorite movie of the year so far. I love everything from this movie, from the performances to the characters to the writing. And, like I said, Tarantino's style is really connects and works with me. So that's why I was anticipating this so much. And this is why I think I love this movie so much. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please be on the lookout for my next review. Please comment, like, subscribe, do all that kind of fun stuff. Until next time, guys, holler if you hear me.